In this video, I'll walk you through how to read the KPIs and what insights you can gain from it. As you can see here, we currently have one forecast visible. This is what we call the consensus forecast. However, this isn't the only one. We also have archived forecasts that were created earlier automatically. For example, if you want to see the forecast made 3 months earlier, just select it from the dropdown. You'll notice it was based on the data available in May. Thanks to this historical tracking, we can now compare those older forecasts against what actually happened, the real demand. This is extremely useful because it allows us to evaluate forecast accuracy over time. We track two KPIs: the bias, which is the difference between the forecast and the actual demand. It tells you whether the forecast consistently overestimates or underestimates demand. Ideally, the average bias should be close to 0 and stay within a range of -5% to +5%. For example, here for the month of June, the bias would be the difference between the forecast baseline and the actual demand, which is 670 minus 787 equals -117 units. Similarly, we can calculate the bias if the user modifies the forecast proposed by SKU Science, which is shown here as the forecast adjustments. So the bias would be 1140 minus 787 equal to 353 units. The other KPI we track is the absolute error, which is the same as the bias but without a sign. It measures the difference between the forecast and actual demand, regardless of direction. And we can see here that the forecast error is 45%. Now, looking at this information from the KPI tool, here we are looking at the SKU Science forecast. So for the month of June, the bias is -117, as we calculated it earlier, and the error is 117. We can also see the bias in percentages by selecting it from the drop-down menu, and similarly we can view the error in percentages, so it will be 15%. Moving on to the user forecasts, the bias for the month of June is 353 units, exactly as we calculated it. Similarly, we can view the error, and also we can view both in percentages by selecting them from the drop-down menu. Then we can check if there is any value added by clicking on this icon, Forecast Value Added, as a result of the modifications done by the user, whether it's an improvement or a degradation. Another important feature here is the accuracy. We can view the accuracy here in percentages, which is calculated as 100% minus the absolute error. As a summary, we can view all this data by clicking on the Details icon, where we can see the actual demand, accuracy, error, and bias, whether in units or in percentages. Thanks for watching.